Welcome to the Northwest Showcase on 93.9 KPDQ. This is Justin Mansfield in for Andy Waits today, who's having a lovely vacation, it looks like.
Yes.
But I have the pleasure of being in the studio today, of course, with Dr. David Day, because today's program is sponsored by Day Chiropractic, and that is his practice. It's located in southeast Portland, between Powell and Foster on 122nd Avenue. Their phone number is 503-760-7572. That's 503-760-7572. You can also find more information online at daychiropractic.com. And if you have any questions during the program for Dr. Day, you want to talk about chiropractic care or anything that comes up during the show, please give us a call, 503-786-9390, because we're live in studio today, 503-786-9390. And Dr. Day, welcome to the show.
It is interesting. Here I come planned with what we'd like to share, but really, it is all about you. So if you're listening here and you have a question or you've been told something, often people will stop me, like at church. In fact, one of the things I'll share today is an experience that I had with somebody at church who's not a patient yet, but may very well be, or may not. I don't know what's going to happen, but often people have questions about their health, and they know that this is what I do and what I love. And they know I'll be happy to take time talking with them. So that's true. I mean, if you're having a struggle with something and you say, boy, this just isn't making sense, you can always call in here and we'll talk. And happy to do that. So one of the things that you'll notice is we schedule the times that I come in and do this show around the time when we have a special event in the clinic. Yeah. And many of you probably have come to realize, Dr. Day is always talking about food, and that's true. I love food. I love parties, and it's always great. So there's a couple things that we do. We're about to celebrate Cinco de Mayo. Now, here's the problem. Cinco de Mayo this year is on Friday, and I'm not open on Friday except for just briefly. But we're going to have our celebration actually on Cuatro de Mayo, which is the 4th of May. So first of all, you are all invited to come and enjoy the celebration of wonderful, we're going to have a little fiesta there at our office. And we're going to celebrate all day long with our patients and the friends and family, that sort of thing. But the other thing that we do is we create an opportunity for people who have been thinking about possibly exploring chiropractic care for their health. And we're creating a special, so it will start today from this show, and it will go until the 12th of May. So if you have thought about chiropractic and you say, I wonder if that would be something that might help me, then for $25 we will do a full workup on you, take whatever x-rays are needed, and just do a nice workup on you. Yeah. And so that's a couple things. One is it allows us to have a party with our patients, let them know how much we appreciate the fact that they have been allowing us to serve this community for over 30 years now. And it's so exciting to show up at work and help people get well. And it's a way we can celebrate together and still have a special offer for people who are not yet part of our practice.
Yeah, that's a fantastic value, $25.
Oh yeah. Well, when you think about what we, obviously it's over a couple $100 if you were to pay for it normally. But I do know, and we've done this long enough, that there are some patients that, for them to come see me, often it means they're going outside of their insurance network. Yeah. So that means every penny is so precious to you. And you don't want to spend it on something that like, if we can't help you ultimately, you don't want to spend a lot of money to find that out. It'd be nice if you could find that out without having to spend a lot of money. So we have a very sophisticated workup that we do. Most doctors don't bother with the type of testing that we do. For instance, we'll check your heart rate variability. And it takes almost 5 minutes to run that scan of your brain. And essentially what we're doing is we're checking your heart rate variability. That means it measures your pulse, and the computer then calculates out how steady it is or how variable it is. It's supposed to be variable, not steady. And it then correlates that with the skin conductance. So how much you're sweating while that's happening. Because that tells us that when you integrate your heart rate evenness or variability, when that is then correlated with your skin conductance, it's like taking a lie detector test, and that sort of thing. And it gives us a way to analyze and quantify how much stress you're under. So it's not, because so many people have said, oh, you're under too much stress, you need to relax or whatever. Well, that's bogus and it's hogwash, because that you may be doing fine with the amount of stress that you're in. It may be the people around you who are having to pick up all the pieces that are really the ones who are having a problem with their physiology. So I can get an idea of how your physiology is being impacted by the stress you're under. Right. And then it gives us a way to measure. So let's say you maybe come under some chiropractic care, you make some changes in your life, you do some things. The question is, did that make any difference or not? well, nobody else is measuring that. We'll measure it. Every re-exam we do, we'll retest you. Because those are the sorts of things that make a difference in your life. And it gives you a way to have some feedback as to whether the things that you are making that you thought were going to make a difference, sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's something else that you didn't think about or you wouldn't have started there. And so it does lead to some very interesting conversations. But anyone who's not healthy, we have to address these types of things. These are about wellness and well-being and things like this. So that's really what we're interested in, more than the back pain per se.
Right, yeah, because you can't reduce people's stress level.
No.
But you can help them deal with their stress better.
Exactly. And I just had a conversation yesterday with a patient, and in fact, if you're interested in this topic, if you go to our website, I've got a bunch of educational videos, and I did a video on stress. And I use the analogy of being a duck versus a cat. So if you're kind of interested, you can't stop the rain, but we can help you become more like a duck and not like a rain who has to run from the rain. I want you to be like a duck who will stick his beak up in the air and wiggle his tail and enjoy the rain. So that's a sort, so I kind of go into that in more detail. So go to daychiropractic.com and go to there's a video section. And there's a lot of videos there because there's a lot of music and there's other stuff on there too. But you want to go to the educational video tab and then go and find the one on stress. So we do have these resources for you. We're real excited about that. So the other thing is, since our last show, I am now a grandpa.
Oh, congratulations.
And I know you were just thinking I'm much too young to be a grandpa, and I appreciate that because I am. No. But our daughter and her husband just had a wonderful little grandson. His name is Andrew, and it's kind of exciting for me because that is my middle name, and so I've never forgotten the names that were given often are significant. And so his first name is Andrew and second name is Caleb, which is his dad's name. But I still remember my mom and dad telling me the reason they named me David was a man after God's own heart. The reason my middle name is Andrew is that every time Andrew is mentioned in the Bible, he was drawing people to Jesus. So he drew and drew and drew people to Jesus. And so isn't that kind of an interesting thing? Isn't that kind of cool? You go, oh, that's right. And it's really something when we think about the names we give people and to be there in the hospital and able to pray with both grandparents and dedicate this young man to the Lord, and it's just a really moving time. Unfortunately, I wish he didn't live in Minneapolis, but that's how it is. So everyone has to deal with stuff like that. So there are several other things that are happening. We've got a gospel sing-along, play-along. So if you are interested in that, we've got one more. It's going to be Friday night, May 6th at Clackamas Bible Church at 7 o'clock at night. So actually, we've got the one in May, and then I'm going to do one more in June before we take a break for the summer. But if you like the old-time gospel songs, it's fantastic. You bring a snack. We'd have a little fellowship time halfway through. It's like a smorgasbord sort of thing. And I tell you, it is a lot of fun. So I have that on, if you go to my website and go to calendar, you'll see I put a little bit of information there. I also now have created a Facebook page for that too and all this sort of stuff. So but probably call my office if you want more information. We can get that for you. Another thing, my wife and I are doing a shred day, and it's going to be right off of Sunnyside there. It's one of those big brick buildings. Call me about the address and all that sort of stuff. That is going to be May, let's see, 6th. Actually, I think the gospel sing is the Friday night. Probably should check the. Anyhow, so it's going to be the following day. So I think check and see. It's either May 6th or 7th. I think it's the 6th. I think the other is May 5th. So that's a shred day. So if you have, we with our businesses, we have a lot of paper. So we are doing it partly for us, but for those of you who have some documents that you'd like secure shredding to happen, we bring the whole truck in there, so the volume doesn't matter. We've had people who are closing a business come in and take advantage of that. We've had schools. There might be your church might have a lot of records that you've wondered how you can get rid of some of these documents that you don't want to have in the office anymore. It's a wonderful thing. It will go from 9 in the morning to noon, so make sure you get there before noon. But we'll have coffee and refreshments and stuff like that. And so call our office. We'll get the address for that. Anyhow, so as you can probably tell, we've been busy. Been a lot. We just I'm also the president of the Midway Business Association, and we just did an event called Business to Buttes up on Powell Butte, and we had a great time. So I've got some pictures and so forth on that on my Facebook page. But if you want to be in a place where we're really embracing life, and it is interesting. One of the after the break, we'll kind of talk about these pillars in a little bit more detail. But we've come up with the 4 pillars of our practice, and this was an exercise that I did last year Because last year was our 30th year in practice, and I was spending some time reflecting about how good God has been and what makes Day Chiropractic different. Again, because there are people who drive past a lot of other chiropractic clinics, and we love being part of this greater Portland area, but why would someone come to see us? What makes us different or unique? And so we've come, the 4 pillars that came up with was, one is that we help each other heal. Number 2, we help people overcome chronic challenges. The third one is we treat the whole family. And then the 4th pillar is that we believe that Day Chiropractic is for life. And that's like a double entendre sort of thing. It's for enhancing your life, but it's also for lifetime care. That if you make chiropractic a part of your kind of wellness strategy, you will be much healthier if you get periodic adjustments that are not based on whether you have pain or not, but just to keep your nerve system functioning at 100%. That if you have that model in your head and that's what you embrace, then the consequence for your future health is going to be so much more vivid, and it will be a much better strategy. So we'll talk more about these in detail a little bit later, but that's something that I want to talk about a little more detail later.
All right. Well, we are speaking today with Dr. David Day, Day Chiropractic, and we mentioned the special he's got going on for Cinco de Mayo, starting today, going through May 12th. If you make a new patient appointment, that is $25. The exam includes bilateral weight assessment, postural assessment, all necessary x-rays, thermal imaging, and surface EMG scans, and that's just $25, a great deal. 503-760-7572 is the office number if you want to make that appointment.
Yeah. So one of the other things that I'm going to do is I did happen to bring a guitar with me.
Okay.
And I will probably end up singing a song that I wrote, but when we think about life and vitality and things like this, music for me is something that's very personal. And just like this instrument, and I am filming this, so you will be able to see this on my website later too if you want, but it's a guitar that is really, it's my 7th one that I've built, and it is an actual bluegrass guitar. It's just an exciting guitar. It sounds great, and it's been something that, for me, music, singing, I've sung with my family. Now we're singing with, in the church, we're singing all over. And in fact, this summer we're going to have some more things. Coyote Bluegrass is coming, the Day Brothers. So kind of keep your ears open for that. But this guitar, for me, it's given me a hobby. I never had a hobby before, never had time for it, but now our kids are grown. And so this is something that really has been a joy, that I've started to be able to spend time actually taking the wood, and this is made out of a rosewood is the side and the back. The top is made out of Sitka spruce that is called torrefied, and that means the wood was actually baked in an oven where they sucked out all the oxygen so it would not burn when it was baked. So at very low temperature with no oxygen allowed it to, essentially what they're trying to do is they're trying to make the resins in the wood be like an instrument that's been sitting for 70 or 80 years drying out. The resins become more almost brittle as the water evaporates. Those guitars are the ones, I mean, if you look at the guitars that are the most sought after right now are the ones that they call pre-war Martins. And so by now, those instruments have existed for many, many decades, and they sound more alive. So even though this is a brand new guitar, it already has started to what we call open up. It already has a vibrancy and a resonance to it, and part of the reason is because this wood, they baked it before they sold it. And so then I could take this wood that had been torrefied, and I made the top, because about 80% of the sound of the guitar comes from the top, because the tension from the strings hooks into the bridge. That is what makes that top vibrate, just like a diaphragm. And so much of the sound comes from that. So it really makes the sound, a lot of the reverberation, harmonic resonance, and things like that, which is really kind of cool.
Yeah. Plus, it's just beautiful wood as well.
Yes, thank you. And it's the neck is made out of mahogany, and then the where you press on the strings is made out of a black wood called ebony. And then each of my guitars, what I'm doing is I'm taking my logo. If you've seen my logo for Day Chiropractic, the name is Day, and so it's a sun coming up over like Mount Hood. So I always then try to take a piece of wood and I try to stylize. So in this case, on this guitar, I made a mountain shape out of the black ebony faceplate, and then I cut a piece of maple that anyhow, so it's kind of the maple then is overlay and representing kind of the sun and the sky, and the black of the ebony is almost like a shadow. So it's like you can then see the mountain and the sky or the sun, that sort of thing. So that's what that is.
All right. Well, we need to get to a break here, Dr. Day.
All right.
We will be back in just a moment with more of the Northwest Showcase with Dr. David Day. And don't forget, they are celebrating Cinco de Mayo now through May 12th. If you make an appointment as a new patient, for $25 you'll get a bilateral weight assessment, postural assessment, all necessary X-rays, thermal imaging, and surface EMG scans. Helps you know what kind of what's going wrong, what's going on in your body, and he can give you an idea of what he can do to help you. 503-760-7572 is the number to make that appointment. 503-760-7572, and we'll be back with a lot more with Dr. David Day in a moment.